What's up guys, it's your boy Coded99 again, and welcome back to my channel. So what I do on this channel is to offer my 10 cents on how we can grow in various aspects of our lives as individuals. And one of the means as which I do this is by bringing you book reviews, pointing out the lessons I personally learned from these books so you can learn from them as well. So if you'd like to know what the book title, Things I Wish I Had Known Before We Got Married, is all about, definitely keep your eyes on the screen. The next part is the roles in the home. You'll get to learn a lot of things from here, and Gary Chapman titled that chapter, I Wish I Had Known That Toilets Are Not Self-Cleaning. He grew up in a home where the toilet was always clean, and he never saw anyone clean the toilets. He wasn't sure if it was his father or his mother, he just knew the toilet was always clean. Fast forward to 2 weeks after he got married, he noticed the toilet was dirty and he decided to tell his wife. And she was like, yeah, I know. I was wondering when you're going to clean it. And he was like, I can't imagine his facial expression to that question. Confusion over roles is one of the most stressful aspects of contemporary marriages. Why? Because of the difference in cultural, family, and religious backgrounds and expectations. The topic of who does what in a marriage can be really controversial, and I'll probably have a video dedicated for that topic. What I understand from this book is that both parties have to thoroughly discuss the topic of roles before they get married. Is the wife handling the finances because she's better at it, or the husband is handling the finances because he's the husband or because he's a man? Is the husband doing the cooking because he loves it and is better at it, or the wife is doing the cooking because it is a dedicated role as a woman to cook? And when you're having these discussions, it is important to recognize what you're both good at and seek to use them for the benefit of the marriage. Have these discussions with an open mind and with the mentality that both of you are going to be partners or a team. And whatever you're doing is not going to be for me, but for us. It's time for finances. Money. This is another crucial aspect that couples need to discuss before getting married. There has to be an arrangement on how we're going to manage our money. I think you should talk about debts, because his debts or our debts will later become our debt. Secondly, I think it is crucial to discuss what percentage of money you're saving or investing, what percentage you're giving out, and what percentage you're spending. If you're going to take out credits, how are you going to pay, and who's going to handle the finances, and etc. Gary Chapman shared that he encourages couples to follow the 10-10-80 plan, meaning they save and invest 10% of their income, they give out 10%, and they use the remaining 80% for the bills and the mortgage payment and other expenditures that they may have. So basically, have those difficult conversations now. Sex. The title here was nicely put. He said, I wish I had known that mutual sexual fulfillment was not automatic. Man, you've got to work for it. Majority of the aspects I've talked about requires work from both parties. But you see this part. Men and women are not wired the same way sexually. You don't need much to get a man ready for sex, but the switch is not automatic for women. Gary Chapman said, if I had known that taking out the trash was sexy for my wife, I would have been taking out the garbage twice a day. To cut the long story short, if you don't behave well towards your wife, you ain't getting any cookie. He discussed reasonable points concerning the sexual aspect of marriage. Points like foreplay and how mutual sexual satisfaction does not require simultaneous climax. How forcing your partner to have sex with you is not an act of love but sexual abuse. Another important thing he talked about is discussing your sexual histories before marriage. Because some people may not be comfortable with their partner's body counts and all, so it is better you trash out these things before you decide to tie the knot. For those who are married, one very reasonable and loving question he said you can ask your partner is, what can I do or not do to make the sexual part of this marriage better for you? I think this is a very lovely question to ask your partner in marriage. In-laws, you're not just marrying your partner. You're actually marrying into their family, and they have expectations too. They are individuals with their own beliefs, culture, ideas, and personalities. And just like your spouse have their love language, your in-laws have theirs too. and you sort of need to understand their love language. The book highlighted various ways for you to love and understand your in-laws, one of which is listening empathetically to them, and another is negotiating with them. He gave an example of a man who was trying to negotiate with his wife's parents, and he said something like, I know you would like us to spend the Christmas holiday with you, but my parents would also like us to spend it with them as well, and both of you live like 500 miles apart from each other, so we can't be with you on the same day. So I was thinking to alternate between Christmas and Thanksgiving. We will be with you for this Christmas and we'll be with my family for Thanksgiving, but next year I was wondering if we could alternate, so we'll be with my parents for Christmas and we'll be with you for Thanksgiving. What do you think about that? This was his own way of proposing and negotiating with them, and I think any reasonable in-law would want to agree to that, and everyone is happy. And let's get down to spirituality. Some people will actually leave this part out, but I think it's important to check the spiritual compatibility as well. As Gary Chapman puts it, spirituality is not to be equated to going to church. Whatever religion you're into, you need to examine your partner's view of that religion. I'm a Christian and there are various Christian denominations. The three major branches of Christianity are Eastern Orthodoxy, Roman Catholicism, and Protestantism. These three agree on the core beliefs such as the divinity of Christ, his sacrificial death, and his resurrection from the dead. But they disagree on so many other issues. It is always advisable to marry within your own Christian tradition. And if you're marrying outside your Christian tradition, this is a topic you need to sit down and thoroughly discuss. And not only that, even if you're marrying within your own Christian tradition, you need to also explore, what kind of Christian am I marrying? For some, Christianity is a Sunday thing. They go to church, they pray, they worship, they listen to their pastor, and that's it. For others, it's their life. Even after church on Sunday, they still pray and study the Bible during the week. They attend weekly programs, they serve in the church, and some may term this set of people spirikoko. But that's a topic for another day. You need to ask questions. You need to ask what their view of God is. You need to ask if they just want to attend church on Sundays or they actually want to have a relationship with God. Get to know their mind and don't just listen to them say these things. Also watch their actions towards the growth as well. Because it is easy to talk, but the action will be opposite. Gary Chapman wrote that to marry simply because you're in love and to ignore the implications of these spiritual differences is a sign of immaturity. And I totally agree with him. And the last aspect I'll be touching today is the personality. Your personality greatly influences your behavior. The author was thorough about this topic. He highlighted various personality traits, and oftentimes people of different personality are attracted to each other. I used to think this set of people would be the perfect match, but it doesn't always work out that way. Now I think it's all about compatibility. Gary Chapman wrote about the pessimists and the optimists, the nitnicks and the slobs, the talkatives and the quiet ones, and so on. The good thing is that as much as these sets of people are two different personalities, there is a place where they both meet and fit, if they understand each other and not try to change each other. He said if you try to force each other into your own personality mode, you may spend a lifetime in conflict. I will highly recommend this book to any single, so you already know what to look out for and what to discuss with the person you will eventually date. I will also recommend the book to those who are in a relationship. This book will help you have these critical discussions before you decide to tie the knot. The same applies to those who are engaged. I would also recommend this book to those who are married, because Gary Chapman and his wife, for the first couple of years when they were married, they didn't know how to go about these things and they came across a lot of problems, of which they later learned how to solve. And now he has put down his ideas and everything into this book. So I think it's not too late to actually read and apply the principles he put down in this book. Apply it into your marriage, make adjustments where necessary, just to have a happier marriage. And it's time to rate the book. My personal rating for this book is a 5 all through, because it was really super packed. For the content and the message, I would give it a 5 as well. Another thing I enjoyed in this book is that after every chapter, there are some questions that you can use as exercise to ask yourself. If you're reading this book with your partner, it's even a great tool to evaluate yourselves as you read on. So for the content, 5. For the flow, I'll give it a 5. Simplicity, I mean, I don't think there's any complexity in this book at all, so I'll give it a 5. And overall, it's taking a 5 from me. So this is the first book to get an overall 5 from me. And kudos to Gary Chapman for putting this beautiful piece together. If you'd like to buy this book, I'll drop 2 links in the description, one for Amazon and one for Book Depository. I personally use Book Depository because it's free shipping, so who doesn't like free shipping? And that's a wrap for today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and share this video with your friends or whoever may need it. If you're new to this channel and you like what you see, please subscribe. I would really appreciate the support. I'll be signing off now, and until next time, make sure you keep your soul beautiful. Peace out.